Okay, so thank you so much. This is quite a turnout. I'm really, really happy. There probably will be other drop-ins, so I'll kind of just be repeating myself a little bit for the next like 10 or so minutes. But yeah, so welcome. And so my name, I recently started using my other name. So my other name is Andrea. So I started using that one. If you know me as EK, you can also keep using EK. I've just started preferring that other name. So yeah, so I'm just gonna talk a little bit about myself and then the method that I teach and then the series and then we'll get up into the actual class. So yeah, I do Feldenkrais and I'm all about, caring and putting all the love I can into helping people feel good. So I just muted that person. Okay, so yeah, and so the thing that I do is Feldenkrais, and this today what we are particularly doing is awareness through movement, which is just a series of little tiny explorations into movement, and that can either be movement that is so small that I don't even see it, or sometimes you don't even know if you're doing it. And what that does is ends up teaching you and kind of reconfiguring the way that you move, because we can learn as human beings, and that's the greatest gift that our brains give us. So this series is actually, today is a free lesson, and then next week starts at the same time, next Wednesday at 8 o'clock is the start of the series, which costs $72. And it is kind of like an exploration into like how can we make movement really pleasurable. Society, we kind of tend to focus pleasure on like, the action of feeling good, but I feel like movement and I feel like just being is pleasurable. And so how can we find a way to just be in pleasure? So the classes are focusing on small things, and we're gonna just go really slow, really easy, really gentle, and find a way to just explore and have fun and be curious. So the last thing is that I'm gonna put in the chat my links so that you can sign up to my my mailing list, and or you can purchase a ticket for next week's class, which is 6 classes. And so now we will actually begin after I did that whole promo thing. So yeah, so how about everybody stands up, and from now on, no looking at the computer, no looking at yourself, because this is an interior. So we don't try to be on the exterior, we try to be in the interior. So if you need, you can black out your screen or, just exist with the public online that is not looking at you. So we're gonna start, in standing, and just take in how you are standing tonight. You can kind of sway from one foot to the other foot, just putting the pressure from one foot to the other foot. This is starting your exploration of being slow and really being attentive. That's the whole purpose of this work, is to really be attentive, to go inside and to become aware of movement and of the movement that you're doing. So you want to just easily tilt from side to side and notice the pressure. Notice if there's pressure coming on one foot in particular more than the other. And notice also if you have a place on your foot that you put more pressure. Is the pressure coming more on the right side and particularly around the toes? Or is the pressure coming more on the middle side, more on the heel? And it's different between feet. It's different between the 2 feet. And without making a judgment call, without making some kind of assessment of yourself, you just want to take in really what does it mean, and what am I doing right now? And that's all. And when you're done that, you can come to lying on your back. I see that some people are on beds and couches and stuff. Sometimes those tend to be really soft. And in this work, we kind of encourage a little bit more like a harder surface so that you can get a little bit more of perception of gravity. That being said, the work always is accommodating to your own needs. So if you have trouble being on a flat surface, then don't go on a flat surface. You can put a lot of padding, or you can be, like I said, on your bed, on a couch. Yeah. So the first thing that we're going to start doing is, so your hands are going to be just laying right beside you. And you're going to just easily roll your hand from whatever it is, either whether it's on the back of the hand is on the floor or whether the palm of the hand is on the floor. You're just going to roll your left hand from one to the other. So gently finding a way to easily roll the whole hand. And you can do that movement really from your elbow. So that you're rolling your hand and you're kind of rolling your arm. You're not really lifting it up from the floor. You're kind of just finding a really easy way, exploring the movement of just rolling your left hand from one to the other. And the more you do this, the more you start to just get into a rhythm of doing that. You're not doing it fast. You're not doing it on purpose. You're not doing it with thinking. It kind of just becomes like this thing that's just happening. Right, going really slow, going really gentle. Yeah. And I'm gonna say the next instruction, but you're just gonna listen first, and then once you get the whole instruction, then you can start doing it. So in the course of your hand, yeah, keep on going with your hand. Keep doing the hand thing, keep keeping it at a little rhythm. Don't do it so that you're gonna become tired. Do it in a way that you can do this forever. You can really do this really easily. Yeah, so slowly that you can do it forever. So on the next time that you kind of flip your hand over, do it at the same time that you take an inhale. So the inhale lasts the whole length of one flip. And then on the inhale, you're just not going to breathe. You're not going to exhale. You're just going to keep the breath in yourself for 2 seconds, and then you're just going to let it go. And the important thing is really to keep the timing, right? The breath, the inhale with the movement of whatever it is that you are turning from the side of your hand. Whichever side of your hand is turning onto the other side, you follow the whole movement, the whole trajectory from one side to the other, and you inhale. And you keep it in for a couple seconds, and then you let it go. And just keep doing that, keep exploring that. And then on the next time, forget about the inhale. So the inhale is going to happen, and then a stop is going to happen or not. And focus on the exhale and match the exhale to the part of to the movement of your hand turning onto the other side. And then at the same time, when the exhale is done, instead of breathing, you hold it in for a second. So now if you're feeling that maybe your arm is tired or you're tired, that's your body telling you that you need to slow down. That's yourself saying that you need to go slow, you need to go slower, you need to go gentler, you need to be easier. And so now that you're all in this rhythm of counting your exhale, you're focusing on your exhale, you're not focusing on the inhale. And then you're also adding a little stop after the exhale. And now at the same time, you're gonna focus only on the inhalation again. So now that you are focusing only on the inhalation. Once the turn is happening, you're inhaling and you're turning your hand at the same time, and then you let everything go. You let everything else happen like it happened, and you're just focusing on the inhale. And now you're doing the same thing, but you're actually only focusing on holding after the inhale. So the moment when you inhale and you keep your breath inside, you hold it for the duration of your arm turning and your hand turning over. And then you exhale. Notice if that is easy for you or if that's a little bit more difficult. For some people, the concept of holding in the breath can set off a bunch of emotions and stuff like that. Just accept those emotions. Don't look into them too much. Just, give them a wave, hi, and that's it. And now in this whole pattern, we're focusing now on the holding the breath at the exhalation. So, and keeping the holding the same rhythm that you are turning your hand over. And now take a little rest. Keep your arm like it is. Take a little rest. In these rests, it's a really nice time to ask yourself a lot of questions and be curious about the little movements that you were doing. Was it comfortable? Was it easy? Is there a change? Did a change happen throughout you were doing it? Did an awareness come in how you're laying on the floor or how your hand is and how you feel your back on the floor, how you feel your legs on the floor? In these times of finding awareness, you end up finding other things that you are aware of, other things that are different in your overall state of your overall being. So now let's go back to creating a rhythm with the arm, the same arm, the left. You're flipping it from one side gently, bringing it back to the other, and then you're going to breathe with your mouth instead of your nose. And you're going to do the 4 moves. And so from now on, I'm going to say these 4 moves. It's the series of 4 movements in breathing, which are the inhalation, the holding after the inhalation, the exhalation, and then the holding after the exhalation. And then you go back to the inhalation. So you want to match the inhalation to the movement of the hand, and then hold for another movement of the hand, and then exhale for another movement of the hand, and then hold for another movement of the hand, and then inhale for another movement of the hand. So you want to keep going, just doing this really, really slowly, really calmly, and really just create a rhythm. Don't go super fast. It's important not to go fast. Yeah, don't go fast. So that you're actually, if you want to have the breathing be long and have it be at the same time that your hand takes a whole movement and your hand lands all the way down, you kind of let go. You let go of the movement. There you go. Yeah, that's really nice. And then you turn, you let go of the movement, and then you turn back. So you're not flipping your hand over one by one. You're creating different movements, right? You're creating different movements from the hand. And you're following your breath with that, so that you're doing once, and then another time, and then another time, and then another time. And that was the cycle of breathing. And so then again, you start again. And notice in between these two movements, between the inhalation and the stopping, if there is a pause, or if you can create like a rhythm, almost like music, right? There's two notes that are separate, and then there's two notes that are together, and they create a sound or a melody. So can you have that so that you're really creating kind of like a melody with your hand? And so now take a little break, and you can get up from laying down and just walk around. Notice if you are sensing something different from before. So you get up lightly and you try to keep that whole rhythm, the whole feeling that you've spent for the last 20 minutes. You just get up and you just explore. You be curious about how you're feeling, if there's something different. You can walk around and you can notice your breathing. Notice if there's something in particular about the way that you're inhaling or the way that you're exhaling. Try not to look at the screen. Try to just be in yourself. Give yourself a moment of just being with yourself and in yourself. And you can even do like we did at the beginning of the lesson. You can kind of bring your weight from one foot to the other foot. So when you're ready, you can come to lay down on your stomach. If laying on your stomach is absolutely not something that you can do, that's totally okay. You can do it actually in your imagination and have all of the benefits with zero of the pain. So lay on your belly. If you need some sheets, some pillows, go ahead and grab that. And the position is actually going to be laying on your left hand. So your right cheek will be on your left hand, and your right hand is going to be just stretched out over your head, just kind of laying over your head. If you have the space for that. If you don't, then it can be to the side. So your left hand is underneath your cheek and your right hand is over your head. Kind of above your head, long. Yeah. And if you can, the palm is facing down. If you need things under your feet, you can grab a roller and put it under your ankles, the little, I guess we call this a crotch, the little place in between your foot and your leg. And some people need that. Some people also like to have things under their chest that raises their chest and makes it easier for them to be on their stomach. So really, it's important that you grab what you need so that you can really have all of the benefits of the work with zero of the pain. So now we're going to kind of do the same thing, the same 4 steps of breathing, but we're going to add in we're going to actually do it with the finger. So before we start that, just simply start tapping the index finger of the right hand. You're on the floor, you're right cheek is on your left hand. And you're just gently, your hand is elongated, your right hand is elongated, and right cheek on your left. No, it's your left cheek on your left hand, so that you are looking at your right hand. And you're just really, really gently tapping, and you're creating a rhythm. You're just simply tapping the index finger, not really fast. And you kind of, the way that you do it is you just really lift it up towards the air and then just let it go. As if you're just letting like a pencil drop on the floor. You kind of just let it go. You lift your index finger and then you let it go. And that will kind of create a rhythm again that we want, a really nice flow, just a gentleness and easiness. And notice how many counts you can get, how many times you can bring your finger up and down in your inhale. And just notice your inhale. So as you inhale, you're counting how many times, what's the number of times that you can get your finger at a slow and really easy pace. How many times can you tap your finger on the floor? And now just gently let that in the inhalation go, and now concentrate on the exhalation. So how many times can your index finger tap on the floor while you are exhaling? And there's no amount that is good. There's no right amount. There's just the amount that is you. There's just the amount that you are doing. And now simply concentrate, let go of the exhale as well, and just concentrate on the inhale. Concentrate on the holding after the inhale. So you inhale and you keep the breath inside. You don't exhale yet. And you count how many times you can bring the index finger up and down, but not to the extent that you push yourself all the way. You don't want to go all the way. You really just want to be gentle. You're not going swimming or trying to win a contest. You're just gently counting the times that you can hold it. And then when you come back, you concentrate again only on the holding in that particular place. And then you can gently forget about that and now concentrate on the hold after the exhale. So when you exhale, you hold in the air and you count how many times you can tap your finger until the inhale comes. And again, don't push yourself all the way to the place that is scary or that hurts. Just stop before that place. And you can let the whole other cycle happen until it comes back again where you are simply just holding the air after the exhalation. And now everyone just let that go and you can turn onto your backs again. For those whose cats were comfortable on them, I'm very sorry. So lay on your back again and simply just notice how your back is lying on the floor. Are there any places that are coming up for you that are a little bit more aware of in your mind map? And so now we're going to go back to the hand movement. And with the left hand in particular, you will just gently roll from the palm to the back of the hand, using your elbow. Remember to keep each movement its own separate and single movement. It's not one movement of flipping. It's movement of turning the hand to be on the palm and then turning it again to be on the back. So two separate, completely, wholly different movements. And as you're creating that rhythm again, you can add in the breathing and create and have it be a whole cycle, so that the whole movement of the hand is again another inhale, and then when you turn it over, it exhales. Then you hold the breath, and then you flip it over, and then you exhale, and then you flip it over, and then you hold. So the four movements of breathing. And then you start over again. See if you can find a rhythm. See if you can kind of make music with that, right? You're bringing notes together so that you're making a piece of music, so that you are creating something together. They're not 4 lines, they are just one kind of piece together with 4 different parts. Make sure you're doing it in a way that is really easy for you. Again, make sure that it's 2 completely different movements, so that the hand and the flip over is really completely rested before you flip over again. The hand is completely rested, because if you're not doing that, then that's a different exercise. Because the whole point of this is to become aware of what exactly it is that you're doing. Right? So really, really gently from one side to the other, keeping up with those 4 parts of breathing. The inhalation, holding the breath in, exhalation, and then holding the breath out. And then inhalation, holding the breath in, exhalation, holding the breath out. And just keep doing that and find your own rhythm, find your own pacing. Notice if in doing this you can have a calmness to you. Notice if there's certain feelings that are coming up at particular moments. In particular, the holding parts, is there anything that accompanies that? You can just notice it and just let it be. So now just gently let that go and just stay on the floor for a second. And you can gently roll up to standing, keeping that same real ease with you, keeping that gentleness. Those poor comfortable cats. And when you come to standing, you can notice how you're standing. Notice if you can keep that whole easiness, the calmness. Take a couple of steps. And you can even move from putting pressure on one foot to putting pressure on the other foot, noticing where and how the pressure comes on. And when you're done with that, you can come back onto your stomach. And in the same position, you can lay on your left hand and looking towards your right hand, which is stretched out. And now have a rhythm of moving each finger so that you're kind of doing it like a wave. You're moving the index finger of the right hand, and then as you're putting that down, you bring up the middle finger. As you bring the middle finger down, you bring up the fourth finger, and as the fourth finger comes down, you bring up the little finger. Create a rhythm in that specific way. So always from index to the little finger. Then you start over from index to the little finger. Get yourself a rhythm again. Notice if there are any fingers that are hard to do that with. And kind of just accept it, right? Sometimes you gotta just accept that. And now, as you're doing that, and as you have a rhythm, you can add in the 4 parts of the breathing. So with each lifting of the finger and putting down of the other finger, putting down the finger, so that you inhale with the first index, and then you hold with the middle finger, and then you exhale with the fourth finger, and then you inhale, and then you hold, and then you hold with the exhale with the little finger. And then you start over that again. Just gently, really easily, with each finger, very lazy as well. Really, really lazy, really easy. See how you can do this just for yourself and matching the breathing. Has there, in all of these little sequences, has there been a different experience of this sequence of breathing than it was at the beginning? Has it become a little bit easier? Have you become a little bit more confident in yourself? And so now go the opposite way, so that you're inhaling with the little finger, and then you're holding with the fourth finger. And now do 2 taps instead of just 1 tap, so that you're doing 2 taps for each cycle, for each one. So you tap twice in the inhale, starting with the index finger, and then you tap twice with the middle finger, and then you tap twice with the fourth finger, and then you tap twice with the little finger. Always adding into the mix the breathing cycle, the inhalation, holding, exhalation, holding, inhalation, holding. It's almost like a song, or like a track that you can kind of put into your music. Kind of just realize that that kind of sound almost imitates the sound for throat singing, which is very beautiful. So keep doing that. And now gently let that go and start doing just the whole hand. So you let the fingers go. The arm is still on the floor, but you're just bringing up the hand. And each time you're doing it in 4 parts, so that the breathing is timed with the tapping of the hand. And now let the hand go and come back to just the index, and tapping the index 1 with each of the sequence of breathing. And when you're through with just doing once, maybe 2 times, tap your finger, just your index finger twice. And then when you're done that cycle, you can do it 3 times, tapping your index finger 3 times, and then with the cycle of breathing. So 3 taps inhalation, 3 taps with a holding, 3 taps with an exhalation, and 3 taps with a holding. And back again, 3 taps inhalation, 3 taps exhalation, 3 taps, sorry, get into a rhythm. 3 taps holding, and then 3 taps exhalation, and 3 taps holding. And now when you're done that, go back to the hand and tap the hand 4 times with each part. So you tap the hand 4 times with the inhalation. You tap the hand 4 times with the holding. You tap 4 times with the exhalation. And you tap 4 times with the holding. And you come back to the inhalation. And then now just tap the hand in 3, just 3 times while you're doing the movement, the breathing sequence. And then when you're done with 3, you can explore 2. So tapping the hand twice during inhalation. Tapping the hand twice during holding breath. Tapping the hand twice during an exhalation. And then tapping the hand twice for the holding. And then again, tapping the hand twice in a beautiful rhythm. So notice how that is for you. Notice if there's a rhythm that's come out from that. Notice if the holding is easier for you. And now let that go and roll over to your back. Notice on your back how you're feeling. Is there anything different in your experience of being on your back? And just how is breathing in general? Is there a consciousness to breathing, or can you just let it happen? To live and to be to live really easily, and honestly, to live in general, you just need to breathe unconsciously. It's a thing that just happens. And if you let it happen, then that's one of the first ways that you can actually just feel free in yourself and in your movements. So now With the left hand, and always tying in the breath in the 4 steps, just simply tap your thumb with your left hand, and then tap your index finger, tap the middle finger, and then tap the 4th finger, and then come back to the thumb. So there's no tapping the pinky, the little finger. You simply tap the thumb, you tap the index, the middle, and then the 4th. And then do a sequence of tapping 4 times with the inhalation, tapping 4 times with the exhalation, the stopping the inhalation, keeping the breath in, tapping 4 times with the exhalation, and then tapping 4 times with the holding, and then coming back again to the thumb, tapping 4 times, and then the index tapping 4 times, and then the middle tapping 4 times, and then the 4th tapping 4 times. And now switch to your right hand. The same thing. Thumb tapping 4 times, index tapping 4 times, and then the middle finger, and then the 4th finger. And then once you've done the right, then you switch back to the left. And then when you're done the left, you switch back to the right. And then at your own pace, in your own way, you just take out the thumb and you put back in the pinky. With whatever hand you're on, see if you can really just have a rhythm to it, like a song, like a flow, like a painting. And now let that go. And now with the going backwards, the little pinky, and inhale, the 4th with the holding, the middle exhale, and then the index holding, and then come back to the little. And keep doing that. Notice in all this time if you can be gentle with yourself, if you can find and be curious with the sensations that are coming up with you. So now gently switch back to the hand, the thing we were doing with the left hand, of going from the palm to the backhand, the palm again to the backhand. And this time do it 4 times for one part of the breathing cycle, 4 times for the next part. So 4 times for the inhalation, 4 times for the holding, 4 times for the exhalation, 4 times for the holding. Then back to the inhalation 4 times, Make sure that the timing is together with the inhalation. The whole movement and the whole movement, the two whole movements joining together, being together. And now try that with both hands. So both hands are flipping at the same time, 4 times with the inhalation, and then 4 times again with the exhalation. Not the exhalation, the stop, the holding, and then the exhalation, and then the holding. Notice if this time is feels a little different. What feels different in particular in the experience of the hands flipping over? Can it be like a song again? It's like this whole class we've been just weaving songs together. All the parts, all the flipping and the tapping has been just a note, and all the different tappings are different notes. And now just leave all of that. Let that all go. Take a second to notice yourself on the floor. And now as you, kind of like an exercise in curiosity, as you, with your mouth open, you inhale and measure how many hand movements you can do in your inhale. Then when you're done that, measure how many times you can flip your hands over as you hold. Measure then how many times you can exhale, sorry. And then measure how many times you can hold. Not as a race, not as a competition, but just as a learning for yourself, just as an exploration in curiosity and how you move and how you breathe. And now just notice how long you can hold with the exhale. So just after you exhale, how long can you hold how long can you with the hands turning? And then with the hold on the inhale, how many times? Notice what's different from the beginning of the moving the hands, if there's maybe a different experience of each different part of the 4 parts of breathing. And so now you can bring your knees up and gently come up to sitting and then standing, or however you come up. Make sure that it's gentle. Make sure that you're gentle with yourself. You're letting yourself come up really easy. And when you're ready, you can stand up. How does it feel to be standing now? Notice yourself on the floor. And you can tip from side to side. You can even sing if you want. See how this breathing lesson has affected your singing. You can just easily let a breath out like, oh, different notes. And this is the end of the lesson. Thank you so much for coming to this free lesson. I wanted to do a really chill and easy lesson to start this series, which is happening next week at 8 o'clock on Wednesday. If you are interested, you can look into the chat. There is my link tree over there, and you'll see a link to subscribe or a link to purchase the tickets if you haven't done so already. I'd love to see you all there. And so also if you don't want to click the link, you can type in your email in the chat. And I always love to leave space for chatting, saying how you felt, if you want. I love to have little conversations about this work. Or feel free to also just close that screen and get in touch with me another time.